Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's midday weather outlook for the southern region brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. We're going to start off by taking a look here at a map that I stare at a lot this time of year. This is from lightningmaps.org. It shows us how many lightning strikes we had in the last 24 hours. And across the region that you see here of the world, we've had over 315,000 strikes. Some of those storms that move through parts of the Mid-South, parts of the Tennessee Valley, getting over into parts of North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and then down here around the Florida-Georgia border. We had quite a bit of severe weather out of these, some very strong winds. Moving back across parts of this region, very, very heavy rains. At times you'll see that in a few minutes. And one storm right in through here that moved through this part of Texas was responsible for 50 separate reports of large hail. So it's been a very stormy last just 24 hours. And the reason why I look at these maps a lot this time of year, and especially visit this website, blitzertongue.org, which shows you live lightning strikes all over the planet. In fact, this was early this morning, just showing you where there was lightning all over the world. And you can zoom into the U.S. You can take a closer look at your location to see exactly where those strikes are. Well, the reason I look at it is it's June 25th. It's my mother's birthday, and 5 years ago today, my dad was struck by lightning. Now, thankfully, he survived. Turns out about 90% of people that are struck by lightning survive. But I'll just tell you something about lightning. It is an incredible force of nature. Each strike easily containing over 1 billion volts, somewhere between 300,000 and 500,000 amps for the most powerful strikes. And when they happen very quickly. And this is one of my favorite animations. I got permission from Tom to show this. He does a lot of great research on lightning. You're seeing both negative polarity lightning. This would be the strikes that are going down like this, the initially going down, and then the bright flash goes up. And then you have some positive polarity strikes coming off of these towers over here, those being about 10 times more powerful than the other ones here. Now, this particular video is shot in time lapse. It's shot at 9,000 frames per second. And the whole video in real time lasts just 1/3 of a second. And if you were watching this particular spot right here, that little corridor right there, you saw it flash, gets struck 16 separate times. We got 9 million strikes like this a day across the planet. So, important day for me and my family's history. Thankfully, my dad survived, as 90% of people do here that are struck. But let's just take a look at where the rain fell out of those nasty storms. We've had some places right here in this section of the country receive an additional 3 to 6 inches of rainfall just in the last 72 hours. And again, all of the thunderstorms went through parts of the southeast, producing some local heavy rainfall. But overall, it's been just a very, very stormy time period recently. Now, when I say recently, I want to show you this map with respect to that. Where we just put down that rain was on kind of our major central United States, river corridor here, primarily fed into the Mississippi River and out through New Orleans, where we're still dealing with a lot of major flooding. This has not gone away. We've been talking about this, honestly, since last October. We've had problems in this area. And to kind of put a cap on that, look at this. This is looking at the last 60 days of total precipitation. Now, when I started creating these maps several years ago, I'm like, you know what? Over 60 days for any place in the U.S., if we get more than 24 inches of rain, that's a lot. But I have places on my map that are white. Can you see them right in through here? Parts of the southern region right now have had more than 24 inches of rain just in the last 2 months. And this map usually never looks like this, but that's how active the pattern has been. Well, that pattern's about to change, and the change is best seen right here by looking at the jet stream as we get toward the middle and end of this week. A deeper trough is now sitting right here over the Pacific Northwest. We talked about that in yesterday's video update. We've now got very weak flow moving across the rest of the country. And this ridge that's building through here is not only going to be bringing in the heat, it will still leave the Gulf of Mexico wide open for bringing in moisture for storms, but it's going to be a whole lot of hit or miss storms. And they're going to be really focused more towards that same corridor right over here, keeping much of the southeast on the drier side of things. And you saw that in yesterday's update. The southeast was on the drier side of things. We're going to get into some more of those details in a minute. But take a look at this flow pattern and then watch this. This animation takes you down about 1 mile above the surface. And there is going to be higher atmospheric pressure that will be in charge across this whole area. I kind of drew a line connecting them here. And it's going to pump moisture around just like this, which is going to keep weather in this area unsettled. But that higher atmospheric pressure that you see there is really going to dominate the flow pattern for much of the southern region over the next several days. Now, one other thing to take note of here, look at how strong the trade winds are coming off of Africa. When the trade winds are strong like this and very zonal, in other words, they're not wavy like that, we tend to suppress tropical activity. And one of the things we are certainly doing right now is suppressing the tropical activity on the Atlantic side. But we are watching this little wave over here on the Pacific side that could become a tropical system that's going to move up in this direction. So that's what we're watching across the tropics, all right? Now let's talk about what that ridge is going to do to our temperatures. In this animation, what we're going to be seeing here is how temperatures change day by day through the next 6 days. So in the day on Tuesday here, we got high temperatures across much of the southeast, getting up here into the lower and mid 90s, right? You can see the 90-degree mark is really going to be trying to occupy a big section of the southern region. We're still hanging on to some serious heat over here in western Texas, although this section of Texas has cooled down because of some of the recent rainfall that's in through that area and cloud cover. Look at the day here on Wednesday, still across the southeast, a lot of mid-90s there, so another really hot day as the heat builds into the middle part of the country as well. By the time we get into a Thursday, this is when it really gets warm across a big section of the country east of the Rocky Mountains. But we're hanging on to our normal highs in here, just a few degrees warmer than average. Again, a lot of low to mid-90s. Progressing through into the day on Friday, the heat builds up to the Central Plains. Look at that. We got temperatures scorch the Central Plains as that ridge builds in. But you're just seeing here that if I had to put a number on it, I'd just say that every day across much of the southern region, we're talking about 90 to 95 degrees. It's going to be a very warm time period under that ridge, and the Gulf of Mexico is open. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm just going to play this so you can see it. This is looking at dew point temperatures every 6 hours, taking you all the way out through the next 10 days. And when you see the numbers here getting up above that 65-degree mark and into the 70s like you see there, you can see how the Gulf of Mexico is just staying wide open, and there's plenty of moisture on which to be popping storms all across the southern region. Now, if there's one place that'll be more suppressed than others, it'll be over here in the southeast. But you're going to see a corridor right in through here in our southern region that's going to see plenty of precip over the coming days. Whoops, went a little too fast there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is looking at just the next 9 days from the National Blended Model. So I got you all the way out here to the 7th. And we're just kind of putting together all of the precip. And you see there's kind of a lot of white on this map, showing us that there are places that, unless you get hit by one of these hit or miss thunderstorms, you could go, several days here without seeing much rain while that heat and humidity comes in. But there, like I said, this corridor right in through here, this little spot right in through here has the best chances. And that's because as this ridge builds like this, there will be an upper level low that'll sit and spin in this area at times. And when it's pulling in plenty of Gulf moisture, I think we're going to see more storms there than anywhere else across the southern region. So that's kind of our main story here as we move forward. Now again, if you see white over your area, please remember that this is just a single forecast. We'll have plenty of Gulf moisture and the atmosphere will pop on that heat. So there could be hit or miss thunderstorms. You know the name of the game, southern region. You deal with this every summer, right? Let's just see where the Storm Prediction Center is keeping an eye on some of that severe weather, though. As we move into the day today, it's going to be within this corridor in through here that we're still going to be watching out for some stronger storms here, while the southeast getting over there toward the mid-Atlantic has kind of a day off here. As we get into the day on Wednesday, again, it's just going to be general risk of thunderstorms. Same thing as you see out here on Thursday as well, which is the bottom map down there. You just overall, much of the severe weather is going to be tucked away where that upper level trough is sweeping through the northern part of the United States. So while there still be storms, we're going to get a break in terms of their severity because we're really missing out on the wind shear. You saw it. You saw that the higher winds were way up here and just gentle flow across the southern region as this ridge starts to build into this area. So that's why we don't see the Storm Prediction Center picking up on a lot of areas of severe weather. But just playing you through your next 36 hours here, so this gets us out to midday on Wednesday. You can see the storms coming up in eastern Texas and sitting over Louisiana here. You can also see the storms popping there in western Texas and parts of Oklahoma and Kansas too as this next system emerges here. But across the southeast, really Florida, a lot of hit or miss showers and storms today. You can see them blowing up right here in the afternoon heat. But much of the southeast, you get away with it today. There's not going to be too much in the way of thunderstorm activity after that front has already kind of pushed through here. So that's just a quick look at your next 36 hours taking you out to Wednesday afternoon. Now, I'm just going to play this animation as well. Remember, higher atmospheric pressure is in control for much of this time period. We do watch this little upper level low sneak into this area, but remember, the jet stream is doing this. Big ridge building up like this. So what you're going to see here is this is our European model played out for you. You're just going to see a lot of flashes of green that pop between noon and about 9 p.m. Ready? Pop, pop. See it every day there? Those flashes of green show me that we're going to be just seeing our daily convective activity. Some places won't get any thunderstorms. In fact, you probably just look at your local forecast and see there's a 30% chance of storms every day. Watch it again. Just pop, 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 just like that. See it? And about the only place where it's very consistent is right in through this corridor here. So that's the place we're watching out for the heaviest rainfall in the coming days. Now, what about the flow of the jet stream? Well, I'm going to show you that ridge as it builds in. The trough digs in out west. See the sizable ridge that comes in there in the midsection of the country? You probably noticed, though, as this was playing, that if I come back here, this is now, let me just show you where you are. This is Thursday of this week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do you start to see this little upper level low sitting here? This is that upper level low I was telling you about. That's going to help keep temperatures a little bit cooler here, a little bit more cloud cover. Now this is into next week, remember, and keeping that area active with more showers and storms. That's the main feature I'm talking about. Meanwhile, much of the rest of the country east of the Rockies is getting this pretty sizable ridge. So what does it do just in general to our temperatures? Well, over the next 5 days, remember, this is the area that I said is going to have the best chance at showers and storms. So more cloud cover in here is going to keep things, well, slightly on the cooler side. Not 95, but 90, 89 to 90. Meanwhile, much of the rest of the southeast is going to be seeing those mid-90 temperatures. But again, the flow doing this. By the time we get out to the 6 to 10 day forecast, remember, now at this particular point, we got our trough out here, ridge, broad ridge, but that's when that upper level low starts to come in and spin in this area. It's not a super well-defined feature, but it's going to, again, keep the temperatures in that area slightly cooler than average, slightly warmer than average across the southeast here, okay? And to show you the 11 to 15 day forecast, we can see that the jet stream is really going to switch up on us, okay? What we're going to see is it's going to end up doing something a bit more like this with time. And that overall change in the pattern, nothing's going to shut down the Gulf of Mexico, so more cloud cover, some cooler temperatures in this area, and warm across the southeast. So we kind of feel like a little bit of a broken record getting out this far, but that's what we see. And just speaking of temperature patterns around the world, I just want to continue a narrative we've had in several of our last videos, and that is just to let you know that the heat is still on in a major way across much of Europe, where they are flirting with some all-time June records here in terms of temperatures. So it's not only the southeast that's hot, it's also much of Europe that's hot right now as well. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this forecast video. We at Nutrien Ag Solutions hope you look forward to all of our forecast videos coming out this week. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.